People's Republic of China is an authoritarian state in which the Chinese Communist Party is the paramount authority.
Yes, sirree. I'm not freaking blind, guys. It's Gweilo style. I think it's Thursday. You could die.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Geez, you know.
Oh, yeah, because
It goes on and on and on.
for all you haters, there's something to chew on for the next couple of...
Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. And that, my friends, was the first sentence in a report done by the United States State Department on human rights in China, Macau, Hong Kong, and Tibet. And they call China an authoritarian state because Xi Jinping has been in now for his third term. He started his third term here this year. And that automatically makes it an authoritarian state, and Xi Jinping is a dictator. It doesn't matter that somebody like Justin Trudeau in Canada is on his third tour of duty. There's a lot of countries around the world where you get voted in the way that it's done. A democratic vote in the West isn't the same as a Politburo vote in the East. See, different countries have different types of political systems, and for some reason, the United States of America thinks the democratic system is the only way to run a country. Obviously, that's not true because China's doing very good at this point. So what the Americans are actually doing is they're weaponizing democracy and using it in these reports to demonize China as a country and the Chinese government as a government and the Chinese people. Because when you weaponize a political system against another political system, everybody in that political system on the other side of the world is now considered a pariah state. If you're not a democracy like us in the West, you are a pariah state. So half of the countries around the world or more are now considered pariah states by the United States of America. The report goes on and starts talking about the People's Liberation Army and how they're responsible for the external security of China. It also says that the PLA has some internal duties also, but most of those duties are either provincial police or municipal police, armed police, and just policing the laws of the land. And they make that sound like it's bad because it's China and in China that this is happening, where this happens in every country around the world. You have an army and they're responsible for the security of your country, interior and exterior. You have municipal police, you have state police or provincial police, you have territorial police in some areas of the world, but it's all basically the same. But in China now, this is just part and parcel of this authoritarian government's reign over its people. They actually get into religious rights of the Uyghur people, the Muslim Uyghur ethnic minority in Xinjiang Autonomous Region. They get into women's rights and LGBTQ+1 rights and how it doesn't align with the American way of thinking. And how, because China doesn't look at it the same way as they do, then it's somehow bad. It doesn't matter the history of the Chinese people, the psyche, how they were brought up, their culture, their customs. None of that comes into play in these reports. But you see, these reports are not there to help these people have a better life. Those reports are made as propaganda tools for the West. If they say that there's forced labor in Xinjiang Autonomous Region, well, then they can tariff and they can ban products from being sold from Xinjiang into the United States, like cotton and tomatoes. And by doing that, they take jobs away from those people in that area of China, making it a poorer society. A poorer society is easier to radicalize. It's easier for them to have organizations like Al-Qaeda and ISIS move into the area and radicalize certain citizens in that area. And you see, ISIS and Al-Qaeda are actually organizations that were created by the United States government back in the day, the Afghanistan war, all of that. But that's something for a different video. But the propaganda that comes out of these reports is important fodder for the American government to put out there on the world stage so that you, as somebody that not only reads, but watches the news, and the news portrays this to you, it makes China look bad, and that's exactly what this report is supposed to do. But what do the Chinese and the Chinese government think about reports like this? Well, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin stated that this 2022 human rights report on China was full of lies, political lies, and ideological prejudices against China, and wasn't worth refuting year after year after year. So he basically saw exactly the same thing as I did when it came to this report, that it's the United States telling you over and over and over again exactly the same thing. And if you tell people the same thing over and over and over again, they'll start to believe it. And that's propaganda by the United States of America. Wang Wenbin goes on to state that on March 20th of this year, the Chinese Foreign Ministry webpage put out a report on the state of democracy in the United States in 2022 and how it has basically failed, not only at home but around the world. As the United States goes to other countries and tries to impose their form of democracy in these other countries, Iraq being one of them, you can see how the failure of this form of democracy has created havoc around the world, has created hardship for the people of those countries around the world, not only around the world, but in the United States of America. They're creating a false narrative where they're pitting democratic countries against authoritarian countries, and those are their words. But what it really means is democratic countries against non-democratic countries. So they're creating a Cold War type of mentality in the world at this time, and you can see it when they get into having a summit for democracy, and it's hosted by U.S. aid, by the NED, actually arms of the Central Intelligence Agency in the United States, and it has guest speakers like the CEO of Google and YouTube. No wonder I'm getting censored on YouTube at certain times on certain videos. It just goes to show that there's a double standard there. If it's for the United States, well then basically anything goes. You can use slave labor in prisons. You can pay women less. You can have people homeless on the streets and treat minorities poorly. But if anyone else around the world is accused, assumed to have, a report has said that they might have done this sometime in the last decade or two, well then it becomes big news in the United States, and these reports are there to make them look really bad on the world stage. And that's what they're doing to China with this report. But China's fighting back. They're making their own reports. But the reports that China makes are based on truth, honesty, and documented, not assumptions, not a report says, but actual facts. And I think that's what's going to be the tipping point when people look at this, and who believes it is because one is fact and one is fiction. And that, my friends, is another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, thanks for watching. Don't believe everything you read. Peace out. Bye now.